You're listening to The Fan.
8:05 Power Trip Morning Show, final hour of the Power Trip. And you can watch it at KFAN.com/watch. Hi, Nick. Nick is over there in for Zacho. Running that for you so you can see what our pretty faces look like. And by ours, I mean Mark Rosen's.
Because Zacho's at the Diz.
He is. He's at
Disney
the Diz.
World.
I saw my picture on the airplane with his mom, I think, right? With
Yeah,
his
the
mom?
whole family. Yeah,
family.
Good for him.
Yeah.
That's kind of their spot.
Wait, they're in Florida, Disney?
yeah.
Oh, okay, Disney World down there.
Going down to celebrate his little brother's graduation.
Oh, nice.
So congratulations.
Have fun, man.
Have a fun family vacation.
Yep.
That's right.
That's right.
Oh, that's right. Hey, by the way, I looked it up. The general manager for the Dallas Cowboys back in the day, owner Jerry Jones, head coach Jimmy Jones.
Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson. General manager Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson.
Oh,
That's
they
how it's
were
listed.
there together.
Yeah, that's how it's listed.
Oh, man, what a day.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord. Wait, the players and draft picks you got rid of? I thought it was just the players. Oh, no. No, we got traded 7 players and 3 number 1 draft picks. Okay.
Well, it worked out for us. We got Herschel Walker.
Wasn't his first game incredible?
The place went nuts. He ran out of his shoe. He ran for a touchdown. I mean, at that moment, if you had taken a poll of every Minnesotan, every Viking fan, and everyone at the Metrodome against the Packers, they would have gone, greatest trade ever made. Because this was the missing piece.
No kidding.
Yeah, because they needed a powerful running back, and Herschel ran. Herschel always talked about himself in the third person. I did a show with him. It was just hilarious. Well, Herschel thought I could run faster if I took my shoe off, whatever he said. But it was, the place went bonkers. And I thought, this is it. They got the guy. And that was it.
He was the guy, though, man. Man, that guy was good.
Oh, he was in college in particular.
Gosh, yeah.
He had his moments in the pros. Biggest shoulder pads I've ever seen on a human being.
Yeah.
Herschel Walker.
Would that have been Wade Wilson? Who was the quarterback then?
I believe so.
Let me look it up.
Yeah,
At the end of the Kramer era, beginning of the Wilson era. Or when did Wade start? Like 80?
87
something?
He was here in because he was the quarterback when they nearly went to the Super Bowl in Washington. That was the strike year where they beat the
81
Saints.
through 91 he was the quarterback.
Yeah, they beat the Saints, upset the Saints.
Wade Wilson?
Yeah.
But then when was Kramer here?
After Tarkenton, 78, 79, 80, 81.
See, in
Did he go longer than that? I thought
he was here longer, but
Okay.
he was, I can't remember his last
In 1993, we had Brad Johnson, Jim McMahon, Sean Salisbury.
year. Oh, my, that was...
Wow.
Yeah, I was doing a show with Jim McMahon at that time, and that was a treat. The punky QB. What the stories that Jim McMahon would tell in the old green room, right? I mean, just from his days with the Bears. My jaw was just like, wait, keep going, don't stop. He'd have a million stories. I did that yesterday. What about you? I still heard about that. I don't know, we're getting away from it, but the quarterbacks. Wade was the late, Wade Wilson. What a cool guy. They upset the Saints in New Orleans, and then they went out to San Francisco when they had Joe Montana and backed up by Steve Young, and Anthony Carter torched them. And it was one of the most stunning victories in Viking history, and that enabled them to go to Washington to play the then Redskins for the NFC Championship game. And the Redskins were not that good. Doug Williams was the quarterback, and the Vikings let it slip away at the end. And
Roser,
they would have won that Super Bowl easily.
What year would Herschel's first year have been? 89?
89, I think.
Yeah, so that was Rich Gannon was your starting quarterback.
Oh, Rich Gannon.
Rich was a quarterback?
Yeah, he was.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, Rich has got
Rich
a million
Gannon,
stories.
Tommy Kramer, and Wade Wilson were the 3 quarterbacks on the roster.
Wow,
Yeah.
Rich Gannon, yeah.
Yep. We also had DJ Dozier at the same time we had Herschel Walker.
Yeah, he didn't play very well.
He was a great
very much.
college player for sure.
Yeah, Penn State. Yeah, he was terrific.
Anthony Carter, let's see, Hassan Jones, Leo Lewis. Wow.
Leo. But AC was the
Jordan.
one who torched. He had back-to-back incredible games as a wide receiver for the Vikings in that year, postseason.
Wow.
Fun times. And then, of course, it came, as our tradition would be, came crashing down.
Yeah, sure did. Sure did.
It did.
Sure did, buddy.
Yep. Strike year.
Over.
Yep. Thanks.
Oh, well.
All right, let's do a quick Fan 5 and get it out of the way here. There's a couple of things
It's time
to talk
for
about.
Fan 5 on the Power Trip. Sponsored by Wolf River Electric. Go solar with Wolf River Electric.
Yeah, go solar.
I love that idea. Let's do that.
It's kind of easy. You just get a hold of them and they walk you through it. It's
I'm
a
telling
piece
you, I'm
of
going to
cake.
do it to my van. I still think that's a great idea.
Are you really?
Yeah, I think I'd be great. I see people all the time driving around with those solar panels on top of their van. Yeah, instead of a generator, right?
This is like a dumb question, but how does it work in the wintertime here in Minnesota?
It's the same exact way.
But it does it without getting much sun?
Yeah, I would guess. That's a great question, though.
Good question.
I guess we should talk to Wolf River.
Yeah.
I like the
Reach out to Wolf River Electric, Rosie Rose.
Get back to me about that.
Okay, buddy.
So did you guys see when Patrick Mahomes on Peacock, when his helmet shattered?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, a piece came flying off.
Yep. So the company that makes the helmet said that the helmet of Patrick Mahomes, quote, did its job. Even though it partially shattered, it said it's still protected. It. Yeah, right. That the shell of it was still in place and that it technically did its job. They said, quote, extreme conditions like those experienced in Saturday evening's NFL playoff game are bound to test the limits of even the highest performing products, right? The kickoff was -4.
Sure.
So Mahomes didn't necessarily complain about that helmet. Did you? Because he said he didn't even initially know that it was shattered. Everybody else in the huddle was like, dude, your helmet's messed up. Did you see his complaints?
I did not.
I thought it was kind of interesting.
The replacement helmet?
that the replacement helmet had been sitting there in the cold.
Oh, my God.
So he couldn't get it to fit.
Wow.
Sure,
So
it didn't expand.
He kind of threw the equipment manager under the bus a little bit, but basically said moving forward, it's not even about that first helmet. It was we got to figure out where to store the backup helmets in conditions like that, because he said it took so long to get it warmed up and to get it to fit right that it just didn't. He wasn't comfortable in it for a significant amount of time, and that kind of threw him off a little bit. So they got to figure out a plan moving forward. Paul, your hands up.
I have a question, and I would guess my good pal Chris Hockey or even Rosie could answer this.
Go ahead,
Maybe
Mike.
even you, Cork, because you're
So
smart.
everybody but Brett has a chance at this answer.
Probably,
That's what it
now
sounds
that I
like,
say it
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Hey, Hogs, and they go off the field and they put their helmets on those things that look like they belong in a salon.
heaters?
Is that hot air getting... Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, they
All
are
right.
heaters. And let me tell you, those green dot helmets,
Yeah.
the quarterback helmets specifically, they are policed like you would not believe. So I'm
Really?
surprised
I bet.
that it was sitting outside. I'm surprised that
Brett-
people had access to it.
No, Brett, when Sauce asked that question, you were nodding like you did know the answer, but when
I
you
just,
just
it made sense. I
but
mean,
you
they-
didn't know.
I didn't
Don't
know.
act like you knew.
But here's
Come on.
when you watch the games,
There was no
which I
chance
do,
you knew.
I think I did.
I don't think you did.
In the cold games, they immediately throw their helmets on there. Like, get that on the. There's
You're
the
making
little
a fool of
stand.
yourself.
Yeah.
I thought they were like code names.
Yeah, I had no idea.
It's
No
the place to put them so then they don't go Thurman Thomas on the bit and forget where your helmet is.
Forgot where they were.
Rosie, Mike Tomlin reportedly told his team he is coming back to the Steelers in 2024.
Makes sense. I know he walked off the podium when someone said, well, basically didn't even ask him a question, said, you have 1 year left on your contract, and he walked off. And Common was asking me about that. I said, this is not the Steelers. This is the way they operate. They've had 3 head coaches in 40 years.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be up to Mike Tomlin when he decides to walk away. And I think he's still very much into what he does. And he's, well, he was, I remember when he was here, I mean, we had some incredible assistant coaches with the Minnesota Vikings. And Tomlin was always one of my favorites. So I'm glad he's coming back. And I'm sure, the Steelers organization is, they haven't had a losing season in 17 years?
I think so.
I think it's
He's
longer than that.
he's
even,
never
but
had
with him,
one.
it's
He's never had
17.
one. Yeah.
Yep. So did you guys see? I think it was Cam Hayward on SportsCenter this morning. There was a group of reporters asking him about Tomlin getting asked about his job security, and Cam's like, he deserves better than that. Why are they asking him this? I don't. That's one of this. This is one of those things that happens in sports once in a while where we forget this is not like Israel and Palestine. This is sports, right? There is nothing wrong with asking Mike Tomlin.
100%. It's a legitimate question. It wasn't even a question.
Right. What do you think about your future? Is this to walk off like it's an offensive question? I love Tomlin. I don't understand why he can't just either say,
I haven't thought about it yet.
It's not that hard of a question, and it's not even remotely
It wasn't a
rude
gotcha
or over the line.
question.
No, it
You
was
are
just,
correct, Gordon.
It was just, is this going to impact your future? Is this going to...
Right.
Okay, then just say... not talking about that. We just lost. It's not that hard to answer some of these sports questions.
I'm not a big Jim Harbaugh fan necessarily, but I appreciate his answer when someone asked him right away about what his future was going to be. Literally right after he won the national championship, and he goes, "Can I just enjoy this moment for a little bit?"
It's that simple.
That's
Tomlin
a
should have done
legitimate answer to a question that probably didn't need to be asked, but is going to be asked because that's just the way. And you're never going to get that answer. You're not going to hear, yeah, you know what? I can't wait tomorrow to interview with the Chargers or X. You know, it's not going to be that way. Actually, I've told this story before about after the Vikings lost the most crushing defeat, I think, of their history, losing to Atlanta in the NFC Championship game. Brian Billick was literally standing in the middle of that small Metrodome locker room interviewing. Players were talking to him about getting a head coaching job, and he had zero problem about talking about the possibilities in front of Chris Carter, Randy Moss, Randall Cunningham, Robert Smith, all those people just right behind him. And he's talking. I just remember walking by going, I was saying to myself, can you take this outside? These guys are bawling their eyes out. I mean, a lot of them were. And Billick's talking about,
But that's why you got to ask.
It's a
just
profession.
In case.
But
99% of the time,
he
they're
was
going
the
to give you a
assistant coach,
terrible
though.
answer.
Yeah.
But you just go for it.
Yeah, he did not. I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't affected by it, but it was the timing, the location, and the manner in which he was dealing with it. And I give him, he talked about what he wants to talk about. He did everything he could to try to win the football game, but
Paul, your hands up.
Anyway,
it's like in the movie Major League, where they're all on cut day, where everybody finds the red tag in their room, and the catcher, what's the catcher's name? Doesn't matter. When he says to those guys, hey, leave the locker room before you celebrate, because there's a lot of people in here whose dream job just died. I'm paraphrasing. But you can't just hold court about, I can't wait to go to Baltimore. Yeah, you can't hold court in the
it wasn't so
room.
much he said, I can't wait, but it was I wish I could duplicate what it was like, because remember that Metrodome locker room. It's not like US Bank where it goes on and on and on, and you could have someone in the corner of it doing an interview like that.
You know, part of what that tells me, Rosie?
What's that?
You were as affected as anybody.
Oh, I was.
You know what that tells me? Yeah, I mean, honestly, you're walking through there with your own heart broken, even as a professional.
Well, the timing was great because I had such good friends in the organization. Jeff Diamond was who I went to school with, was the vice president. He had just named executive of the year in the NFL. And so many other people. It was like the perfect storm of everything that was going on. And that was with the relationships we had and the show you're doing with Johnny Randall and Eddie McDaniel every week. I mean, you get it's professional, but you get close to those guys.
Yeah,
and you could really see how they were hurting.
And you're a Vikings fan who was thinking you're finally going to get to see one.
Yeah, I remember after when they had the 2-minute timeout. I was kind of my own way sprinting down from the press box to allow you on the field the last 2 minutes of the game. And I remember saying to myself, I'm finally going to cover a Super Bowl. The Vikings are going to be in. I mean, I've covered Super Bowls, but I said, finally, I can't believe the Vikings are going to actually go to a Super Bowl. And everyone in the stadium, why am I talking about this?
Yeah, Rose.
Just stop it. Just stop yourself.
Can we start drinking now? That's the best team that never won a Super Bowl.
It was 36 years ago today. Thanks a lot.
It was, and obviously much more dire circumstances, but I felt a lot of that from the Lions the other day in their game. There was so much pucker, so much I'm afraid to lose. That they almost lost the game. We scared ourselves into losing that game. And I say we as if I played for the team, but I still feel like the Vikings lost that game because they couldn't believe.
They hadn't been in a competitive game except for once all year, and that was against Tampa when they lost. And they just ran out of time in that game. They didn't really lose it. The clock ran out, to be honest with you. But that they had not been in a close game pretty much all year long.
Watching them do the dirty bird.
Oh, that was the worst.
Watching them do the dirty bird and get that championship trophy.
Weren't they double-digit favorites?
Yes.
Weren't they 10.5?
Yeah, they were. And Atlanta was a good team. They were. Let's not take. I mean, they were a very good team.
14-2.
14-2.
15-1. Yeah. Ugh. Rosie.
Thanks for bringing that up.
You brought it up.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Go back and
I'm looking in the mirror.
That's depressing. Why did you bring that up?
36 years ago.
Rosie.
How could that be?
I don't know.
Not 36.
No, that was just maybe one other game. There were
20s.
Yeah, they were talking about the 87 game, I think, 88 game. That's the one I was referring to. The other one they lost in the NFC Championship.
So how long ago was the 98 game? Technically January of 99.
Correct.
25 years
ago. God, Paul.
Is that right?
Bells, bells.
Is that right?
The other
Sorry,
one, 87 one, was 36 years ago.
I thought you did a good job of representing yourself in that. I wasn't being critical. I'm confused by it.
Yeah, and can I speak on behalf of my client, Christopher Allen Hockey?
Yeah.
Neither one of us really care. We just wanted to see how long you were going to argue.
I know.
I don't care if I'm right or wrong on that one at all. Couldn't care less.
Our mutual
I hope
friend,
you're right.
Corey said I'm right, you're wrong, and that's all that matters.
Who's our mutual friend?
The poker guy, Blake Bond.
Blake said you're right?
Yeah.
Well, Michael Jackson thinks I'm right.
He's dead.
Blake's also the worst poker coach in the state of Minnesota. So,
That's your fault, not his.
Maybe he's just got one really bad student.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
I mean, Sauce might have had some great teachers, you know?
I did.
Was it their fault?
They couldn't have been that great.
I'm sorry, Sauce. I had to take a shot. I had to even things up.
That's all right. I appreciate it. I just like being here.
Yeah.
Don't bring up 98 again, Rosie.
Yeah, I don't want to
Makes
relive
me
that
wanna
from 36 years ago.
Yeah, I want to smoke.
Listen, 09 was worse for me. 09 was worse.
Then you didn't.
I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
Don't say it.
Yeah, I won't.
Ken is still mad at me for
Yeah.
it.
He hasn't cheered since.
No. Yeah.
Ken is mad at you?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I was standing here, right here, Rosie, right here. And I go, my God, we're going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, boy.
And then Brett threw that damn interception.
Yeah.
Like right after I
Sorry.
said those words.
Not you.
Yeah.
This isn't about you. We get it.
You're your
good
guy.
again. Yeah.
Yeah, that one hurt way worse for me.
You did it? Yeah, I did. Not for me.
Oh, 98, man. Yeah.
That was the one.
Headlines next. This is the Power Trip Morning Show on The Van.
The Fan.
Can feel no sense of measure, no illusions as we take
Good morning, everybody. That's like
refuge in young man's pleasure.
So, Rosie, by the way, Sauce just told me off here you're allowed to say anything you want about Fargo. He wants to hear all of it.
Okay, well, then Juno.
real.
Tacos.
I just can't get out of my mind.
Rose, quick thing before we get into headlines. Do you read the paper still, right? The actual paper?
I do most days, yeah.
Did you see who Patrick Rosie wrote a whole column on?
On the Common Man.
Yep.
On
Really?
his
Yep.
love, yes,
Yep.
his love of the Lions.
Him and Deuce are on.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
great.
that's awesome.
I read it last night. It's terrific, and I think I don't know if the actual newspaper has a picture of the two of them. I hope they do because they had it online. So yeah, the roar's been restored.
Oh, that's good.
What do you think of
So,
the Lions now?
What do you think? It's great. I mean, I'm loving it honestly. Watching it through Common's eyes because he's like he said, it says. This has disaster written all over
Yeah.
it. He's a fatalist because he's been a Lions fan for all these years, and he doesn't think they'll beat Tampa Bay. And in the heart of hearts, they'll find a way to lose that game because it's the Lions, right? And you're just conditioned much the way we are.
I think they got one more in them at least.
Yeah, I think they beat Tampa.
Imagine if they were to win, and I'm looking at Brett here, and the
Never know.
Packers upset the 49ers. The NFC Championship game in Detroit between the Lions and the Packers.
And we beat them in the litter box
My
earlier this
God.
year on Thanksgiving. Yeah.
I don't think I
That's
could.
a
I
turn.
don't think I could watch that
That's a
game.
turn the year around for you guys. Was that win?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, good for them. Good for Common.
Yeah, man.
Enjoy the season. Enjoy the postseason.
Long suffering.
Yeah.
Shall we do some headlines there, Corey? Sure.
Now it's time for headlines.
Rosie, let's try something quickly.
Okay.
Ooh. How many
Name-
times have you heard that?
Oh yeah.
Name a solo male singer that's like a I don't want to say crooner, but just give me like a
Michael Bublé.
Okay, well, pick anybody but Bublé.
Oh, okay.
Anybody but him.
Bruno Mars.
All right, fine. So Bruno Mars.
No.
Now pick a large animal of any kind that's semi-dangerous.
Rhinoceros.
Okay, so Bruno Mars,
good one.
rhino. Now pick any country in the world. This is basically Mad Libs, but go ahead.
I'd say it
Bruno
sounds
Mars,
like Mad
rhino,
Libs.
and pick a country.
Italy.
So what if I said Bruno Mars was almost attacked by a rhinoceros on a beach in Italy?
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big story, right?
That'd be a huge story, yes.
Yeah.
Here's an actual headline.
Okay.
Shouldn't have used the word crooner. Michael Bublé
Oh, no.
was almost attacked by a polar bear on a beach in Canada.
No wonder you wanted me to come up with another
one more
artist.
time.
Michael
What?
Bublé, yeah, Michael Bublé says he was almost attacked by a polar bear on a beach in Canada.
Son of a beach.
Yeah, beaches in Canada?
Sure.
I'm just kidding.
I
Wow.
don't think they surf there, but they're
No,
cold.
they.
Charlie don't surf.
Is there more to the story? Just the headline.
That's just the headline, but out of every famous person's death in the history of famous person deaths,
Yeah.
Bublé killed by a polar bear would have topped the list almost
my.
immediately.
Yeah, 100%.
that would have been a top 3-er for sure. Right? There's famous plane crashes, other accidents, there's murders, there's suicides. Getting killed by a polar bear?
Yeah.
Would have been unbelievable.
And they're super mean, right?
Yeah, do not
see us
mess with
as
polar
food.
bears.
Yeah.
And they're fast, aren't they?
Yeah.
They do not just sit around and drink Coca-Cola and sled down hills. They will rip your face off.
I would like to know what almost attacked. What is that? Like if I swam, you talked about this yesterday. If I swam in the ocean, am I almost attacked by a shark?
Commerce was.
No, you're not.
Tommy saw a shadow once and believed he was almost attacked by a shark.
He's 100% sure of it, and I'm with you. I believe you, Thomas. I love you.
This is a crazy story. I don't know what the details.
Yeah.
Almost.
Did it look at him? Is that almost?
I don't know.
I don't know.
What a weird story. Juno Temple was from Ted Lasso, but now she's the star of Fargo. That ended last night. And Rosie, you're going to tell Sauce.
Everybody be cool.
That'd be cool. Hawk saw it. Didn't see it either.
She's on with Stephen Colbert tonight. Clive Owen and Juno Temple on the old Late Show tonight.
That's nice. Yeah.
Meanwhile, on the old Tonight Show, Jodie Foster of True Detective.
And
Have you seen it, Rose?
No, and I hate to be influenced by people I trust who've watched it and said, not real good.
Slow start.
So I haven't.
Slow
there. I almost
start.
started watching it last night. I went, no, after Fargo, I can't
did
do
the exact
this right
same
now.
thing. I know.
You haven't seen it yet,
I
Hogs?
haven't seen it yet, and I'm
not sure if I'm going to.
I know.
Because I made the mistake of watching season. They started recapping season 1, and I went, oh.
I watched that whole season like a week ago.
Damn, so amazing.
So when
It's one of the best.
When you hit a home run, though, like season 1, we've been hammering it for a week and a half now. But when you hit a home run like season 1, just legendary television, right? Peak TV. Then epically fail in season 2.
Epically.
And you have a franchise, when you're HBO and you have a franchise like True Detective, and you've blown it. Because season 2 was just universally hated.
Worst.
Everybody said it's over for True Detective. You found your footing again in season 3, and you saved it, right? You're like, all right, the franchise isn't dead. Season 3 got it turned around thanks to Stephen Dorff and Mahershala Ali.
Correct.
You can't screw up season 4.
Yeah, they signed Jodie Foster.
Right, then you get Jodie Foster. If you blow season 4, it's over for True Detective. You can't screw it up twice.
No.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Come on.
He's right.
What? Fargo season 5 is the best of them all so far. I can't wait to see it.
Awfully good.
Can't wait to see
Rosie?
it.
Noah Hawley's
Be cool.
brilliant.
Everybody be cool.
What did you like the most about last
Come on,
night's
Rose.
episode?
Rose.
I think the part where John Hamm.
Rose.
No, I'm not going to say it.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't imagine what happens. I can't even
can't
imagine.
wait.
I can imagine a lot of things.
Do you have one more to go, Hawk?
Yeah,
This is it?
yeah,
I'm on the
that's
last
right.
one.
You have
we're on the
too?
last one,
Well,
yeah.
watch it tonight so we can talk about
I'm
it.
going to
I
watch it
promise.
earlier than that. Yeah.
All right.
A copy of the Amazing Spider-Man #1 from March of 1963 was just auctioned off for a record-breaking $1.38 million.
I think I had that with
Spider-Man
me.
#1.
Yeah.
Is it the? I was going to ask it. I was going to ask the Amazing Fantasy. I'm not a comic book guy. As much as I love superheroes, I couldn't.
Isn't the most expensive comic book of all time the first time you see Superman?
Superman, I believe.
That's
The Action Comics.
I was a Fantastic Four guy. I used to always get the Fantastic Four comic book.
And there's an old Simpsons episode where Krusty's money manager tells him you got to stop wasting money, and he lights up a cigarette with that comic book. It's funny.
Worst comic ever.
Brilliant.
Great story.
Yeah, I mean, okay, it's
and rich.
no. I stand up for you.
I liked Ricky Rich.
It was
Rich, you
Richie's
mean
brother, Ricky.
Oh, what did he do, Hawk?
He picked up hookers.
Whoa.
You guys ever see the Richie Rich film with Macaulay Culkin?
Sure.
Is it terrible? I don't know if I've
I
seen
mean, of course it was, but I've seen it 36 times.
because it was on
last
USA
night.
a lot.
Probably.
Yeah. You watched it last night?
Sure did.
How?
Hi.
Hi. A conspiracy theorist who claimed the government was deliberately setting wildfires has pleaded guilty
Brandy's in trouble?
Setting a wildfire, right?
to setting 14 wildfires.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Claimed the
course.
government was deliberately setting them, and he set 14 of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
That sounds
That's
right.
funny how that works.
That sounds right.
Does Hot Ass Randy believe that the government sets wildfires on purpose?
Hottest Randy believes there's a laser that somebody controls.
Like Jewish space lasers,
Right.
like Marjorie Taylor Greene?
I did that.
I don't know.
Oh, Rosie. Damn
Jewish
it.
space lasers.
Would you put your space laser away for 1 second, Roser?
Can't.
Sauce, you used to have a Tesla, right?
I did, yeah.
Some Tesla owners in Chicago are frustrated because they've been unable to charge their cars in these extreme temperatures. One report says the charging stations are becoming, quote, car graveyards with dead robots.
I agree with that completely. I stand by that. The reason I still don't have one is they didn't, when I purchased it 3 years ago, it was like, hey, everywhere you go, there's going to be these long-range chargers. And it's going to take 15 minutes to charge, and it would basically be like filling gas, going into a Holiday station, and coming back out, and your car will be fully charged. A, that's not true. B, I missed Holiday. I like going into Holiday. And C, when it's winter out, they are terrible automobiles. The battery life is about a third of what it normally is.
Didn't they know that when they manufactured them? It's not only Minnesota that has cold weather.
Of course, I'm here for your local Tesla dealer. I'd like to say thank you.
Yeah.
You know what's weird now? Whenever you say you say A,
you don't think there's going to be a B.
No, so I don't even listen to what you're saying because I'm just paying attention to see if you went to the B or not. And what's interesting about that ride, I didn't hear a word you just said, but you did say A and then said a whole bunch of things.
Right.
And for a second there, I'm like, there's not going to be a B. Then you even tripled down. You went A, B, and C.
Impressive.
That was crazy.
For you, Sauce.
I'm just saying.
I feel like
that was big.
Taking it to another level.
April to October, that is the best car I've ever had. In the winter, they're terrible.
Give me at least 2 reasons why.
A, I like driving a nice car because I have a small penis.
What?
B, it went really fast when I drove it.
I made him.
Maybe A and B both.
Well, you asked.
I did not ask about that in any way.
I'm just trying to avoid.
Did I miss a question from Corey?
I don't know. I wasn't listening because normally I'm expecting him to not do that.
I can't be the only one that's listening, though, even in their cars that does that. There's no way.
Brilliant.
As soon as you started giving your reason, I tuned out and was just waiting to see if you were going to do B. Don't even care what B is. And you did B and C.
Yeah, man.
A 62-year-old man in Connecticut is facing charges after neighbors say he dug up their yard because he claimed they were pirates.
Oh, man.
Come on.
You got to be careful.
Buried treasure maybe in the backyard of your neighbor?
Arg.
Thought they were pirates.
Was there an X in the backyard?
Mm-hmm. Oh, like on the ground? Or like a
That's the
former
same
lover?
reason Zach was flirting with me all day yesterday.
You think, what? He thinks you're a pirate?
I have a picture of you. I think you were dressed up as a pirate on one of our first trips that we took with the fan. Remember that? The cruise? Hawk?
Yes,
you
that's
dressed
right.
as a pirate?
And I did karaoke.
I have.
That's right.
I have a picture of you somewhere. I saw it. I went,
holy moly.
That was like 50 pounds ago, too.
Yeah, man. I was hefty hippo back then.
And I just remember the pirate thing. I went, who is that?
Man, that's crazy. I forgot all about that, Rosie.
It was our cruise that we took to. And then, is that when someone thought the Cuba thing? Was that?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
I just thought it was really big. We were there beside it forever.
Yep. We were looking at Cuba from the side of the boat, and Chris was like, I can't believe how big it is. Because you could see it essentially as far as you could see in either direction.
Correct.
And I think he thought it was going to be the size of the island from the movie Castaway.
I kind of did.
Gilligan's Island.
I kind of did.
Yep.
I'm a hillbilly.
I just thought a pirate in you. I don't know why.
That's really crazy, man. I haven't thought about that since that happened, I don't think.
Still can't believe, looking back, that we had the technology then to broadcast from the deck of a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
It wasn't docked.
No.
One of our shows was just, we were out there and it worked.
Oh, man, that was a long time ago.
That was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
It must have been around 04, 05,
We should do that again.
Man.
Was there a nude deck on that boat?
Yeah, that was
okay.
Yes.
Yes.
What? Rosie, you don't know this story?
No, I don't know this story.
Yeah, no, Brett hasn't heard this story. This is a true story.
Okay.
So how many people do you think from the fan staff were there? 8, maybe?
Well, yeah, we had
Eric Ite. I think Lisa Sanderson, maybe even, if I remember right. Something like that.
Yeah.
So let's say there was, 6 to 8 people from the fan staff.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
We had our day out at sea, and everyone, because there's there's no excursions. You're out in the middle of the ocean. There's nothing to do. Everyone's by the pool or on the deck or drinking, right? So we go up, have a nice little day in the sun. There's almost nowhere to sit.
Yeah.
Almost.
The chairs are all taken.
Almost. We finally find these seats, these lawn chairs or whatever, these deck chairs that are basically at the bottom of the stairs that go up to the topless deck.
Yep.
The adults only deck.
That's right.
So we're sitting there, and here comes Mark Rosen with his newspaper, and he starts going up the steps, and we go, "Oh, hey, Rosie." He goes, "Oh, I can't find a seat. Oh, there's no place to sit."
That's exactly
Classic Rose.
You guys know, you guys have got an extra chair that I can pull
come
up?
on.
So,
the greatest.
the greatest. We did a couple of laps and found some spots. Rosie took his newspaper, was going to take his newspaper and go right to the old topless deck because he was looking for, quote, seating.
Yep.
Who needs a newspaper?
It was like
What are you gonna look at?
catching a kid in the kitchen, getting a cookie out of the cookie jar, man.
Now him and Lawyer Lambert go out and play blackjack out by the pool.
That's right. We just fast forward to Vegas at the pool deck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Blackjack.
Oh, the best.
Oh, boy.
Was it worth it?
I don't think you
make
ever
it.
went up there.
I don't think I did.
think
go
that
up
was
there.
on his
No,
point.
I
I think
didn't
we
go up
shamed
there.
you so much. I don't think
Oh,
you
no,
ever
I
actually
remember
went
it
up.
differently. I think he absolutely.
No, I did. I would have remembered. Trust me. No,
That
I
was
did not.
fun.
If I would have been caught like that, I would have just like, well, now I have to go up. I'm already caught. Might as well go up there
Right.
and see some things.
You listen.
Yeah.
You got to find a chair.
That's right.
Yeah, he was just looking for somewhere to sit.
He had a book
I'm
to
not.
read.
Don't be mean to Rosie.
I just remember that I had the Jack Dawson suite with Eric Ice. I shared a room with our engineer, and Hawk and Morris had like palatial suites with decks and balconies and ocean views, and I was going to be the one drowning
Yep.
with Eric Ice.
Yeah, you had to shovel. Remember, you had to shovel
Jeez.
coal.
And again, that was pre-LASIK. I'm in bed asleep. My contacts are out. This is before Dr. David Whiting changed my life. And Eric Ite walks in at like 2 a.m. with 2 gals, and all three of them are 0.2, and they're like, "Come party with us. Let's go play games on the deck." I'm like, I'm not playing shuffleboard with 2 cruise ship booze bags. I can't even see.
And I got to be up in 3 hours.
Bonus and Muss were there?
And I was standing outside the door going, "Where are we going?"
Yep, right. Hockey came running. Help is on the way.
We actually did shows there.
Was
We
that
did,
when
yeah.
Star Screen Door couldn't touch wire at
No,
the
that was
Tennessee
a trip
Trots?
to Mexico.
Mexico.
Oh, that was the
Different trip.
worst.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
my
terrible.
God. That was the worst trip.
Yep.
A guy in Germany broke a world record by chugging a full cup of coffee in 3.12 seconds.
Come on. How hot was it? My goodness. Was it lukewarm?
Button bar.
According to this, it's hard to tell if it was still hot when he chugged it. A few sources claim that it was, but
No
the
way.
Guinness website doesn't mention that being a requirement.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, that
The previous
did not
record
happen.
was 3.17 seconds.
That's a record you want to hold?
According to this story, a lot of people on Instagram think they could do it
I was
faster.
gonna say that seems slow to me.
It does seem slow to me,
Yeah.
too, but I don't understand. There's got to be a reason why it's harder than we think.
The heat. I mean, temperature of the coffee, I assume.
Speaking of the heat, a lot like writing country songs. It sounds easy to a lot of us, and according to Jimmy Butler, he thought it was easy as well until he started doing it. But Jimmy Butler claims he has written 60 country songs for an upcoming album that he wants to release, but he hopes to record 200 songs before choosing the ones that will make his debut album.
Yeah, give her hell,
Jimmy
man.
Buckets.
Jimmy Buckets
Wow.
claims he's making and compiling and writing and performing a country
Good for
album.
him.
Now you're all gonna make fun of me, but didn't he play for us?
He sure
Yeah,
did.
he,
For 1 year.
Oh, boy,
Okay.
did he
All right,
ever.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I
Yep,
thought-
that
Made the
We
playoffs.
they had the press conference at the Mall of America.
That big a deal.
Yep, that was a huge deal.
Man, if I had met him, we might have written a whole bunch of songs.
Do you
Yeah.
have any of it in the system, Hawk?
I have his first single.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah, he
Still
does.
got 199 to record.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Do you want me to play it?
Yeah, that'd be
Sure.
awesome if you have it in the system.
I
Debut.
sure do. Just give me a second here. I
Yeah.
didn't realize you were going to put me on the spot.
Sorry,
like this.
I didn't mean to put you
I
on
need,
the spot.
I need to get Jimmy Bucket's permission.
So
Before
this
I play
is his first single?
Yep, this is it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
He's got a higher voice than you would expect.
yeah. No music, though.
What do you think?
I need Rick Beato to break that down.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Pull your hands up.
Yoko Ono.
Of course he would.
Would
He's
Hawk.
famous, of course.
I would not.
Sauce, you're familiar with Big and Rich, right? Brooks
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Dunn. If Jimmy Butler and Chris Hockey formed a country duo, what would their name be?
Oh, God. Give her hell, man. I don't care. Go ahead.
It would be Buckets and Hogs.
That's a terrible
Or
name.
Buckets of Hogs.
I think it would be Big Boobs and Rich. Because he's rich. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I was going to say the other word, but
You might have something, though, there with hogs and buckets. It does sound like something on a farm, right?
It does. Oh, my God, you're right. That's true.
You know who's underrated?
Hogs.
Thank you.
Buckets.
Yeah, or buckets of the zero in Denver.
Okay.
What?
I don't know.
Last but not least, Hawk, do you remember, I don't know, maybe a month or so ago?
No.
We
Brilliant.
we talked about that Guinness World Record for the oldest dog.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
We talked about the dog in Portugal named Bobby.
Oh, Bobby.
Was over 30 years old, Mark Rosie.
Boy.
Oh, no. This can't end well.
Oh, boy.
But sadly, the
Rosie.
dog named Bobby in Portugal died in October.
Caesar. No, that you had a good long life.
That's inappropriate.
I cried when Old Yeller they had to shoot Old Yeller when I was a little kid.
Point.
Come on. I still haven't recovered from that in my childhood.
That was
Oldest
terrible.
dog ever, right? Oldest dog, 31 years old. You dog owners out there going, geez, 31.
Rosie's my dog.
Well, Rosie Rose. Guinness says the record is now under review. Here's why.
I counted the rings.
His owner is a guy named Lionel Costa, whoever, had a vet document that Bobby was born May 11th, 1992, meaning he died at 31 years and 165 days old. But because that's an insane number, people started doing some investigating and questioning it. The breed of dog that he is normally lives 12 to 14 years. So living to 31 is astronomically higher than the average, right? It's over twice that.
Right.
Cool.
People also claim photos taken of him in 1999 show a dog with a slightly different colored paw.
Oh, no.
So they're saying this is just a dog that looks super similar but isn't the same dog. A council member at the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons in England was pretty blunt about it when asked about it. Said, not a single one of my colleagues believes Bobby was actually 31 years old. So Guinness put out a statement saying a formal review is underway. They've temporarily paused the record for, quote, oldest living dog and oldest dog ever until they get all this ironed out. If Bobby's record is nullified, it would go back to an Australian cattle dog named Bluey. She was born in 1910 and lived to be 29 and a half.
Oh, Bluey.
So anyway,
Yeah, justice for Bluey.
Yeah.
might be a hoax.
The stress wasn't as...
That was a hoax, right?
Damn dog's a liar.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a dog living 30 years. That's just... Under what condition? I mean...
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that, as they say, in human years?
Oh, if it's about a 7-ish, right? 7 per.
200.
So Sauce, go for it.
Well, 7 times 20. No.
Why don't you just start with 30?
No, it's no.
31
7
years
times
old.
7 times
That was a
3
really weird way of starting.
is 21. So to be 210 years, and you said it lived to be, so it'll be about
31.
217.
Jeez, look at you. I should have let you start with 7 times 20. And
I would have got there.
You would have. Would have been one hell of a ride. I definitely wish Zach had been here for White Bear math.
He's dead.
31 times 7 with Zach would have been an absolute adventure. Anyway, so we reported on it. Now I feel like we need to apologize because the dog might not be 31. The dog's dead. They have confirmed the dog's dead, but may not have lived to 31.
Mark.
Anyway, there you go.
Is that your...
Sure.
Is that what you got?
Yeah.
Good, because I got some stuff for you guys.
All right.
Oh, I got a little time left. Okay, cool. Okay. Here's number 1. And listen, Corey, you and I have talked about this a lot. Rosie, you've had kids as well. You live on a street, the kids are out there playing, and some JA comes screaming by in a car, and you just want to beat him.
Throw a brick through the wall.
Yeah.
Yep. Window.
Well, this guy in Florida went too far, admittedly, but I get it.
A dude speeds past his house, at least he said he did, and he throws a beer can at him. And then he goes down there and confronts them about speeding in the neighborhood, to which he says, I'm going to go get my 15. He comes out with his rifle, and the dude shoots 3 times, once in the air, twice in the ground. So he's locked up in the county jail. Aggravated assault, felonies, over speeders.
Which, again, too far.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
But I get it.
Yeah.
When your kids are playing in the front yard and some JA comes by at 90,
Well, 90 is a.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
If you are moving into a new development, let's say you're like, hey, a new build, I can pick any lot in the entire neighborhood. Whatever the upcharge is for a cul-de-sac instead of a street. That was the one thing we were super bitter about when we moved in is there weren't those options left.
Right.
It's worth every penny if you have a 1 or 2 or 3 year old because it's a nightmare. I never got comfortable when Harper was, I don't know, that range, that 3-4 range. Now that she's almost 10, I know she at least has her head on a swivel more than she did 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
But man, that gave me a lot of anxiety because it's one thing when you see a dumb teenager fly through the neighborhood because you want to wring that kid's neck. But when it's an adult and there's 30 young kids in the neighborhood, you're going, where do you think you're going?
Right.
The kids
Slow
still,
down.
that's a dumb question. The kids still play games in the street because that's all we did when we were growing up. We played, the equivalent
I don't think so.
a ball.
Not as much as we did, but they definitely still do.
Because
But
they'd
it's
always
much
yell
less.
car, of course, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Game on. Yep.
Yeah, game on, exactly. Exactly. I can't imagine that they do.
And
It's just not as common.
snow forts in the middle of the cul-de-sac, though.
Yeah, man.
Undefeated. That was the greatest thing ever.
The snow as high as they possibly could.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because that's where the freaking plows
I
just
just did
made
that.
a wall.
Jump off the top of it
100%.
into like a foam pit of snow.
That was the best.
That was awesome.
All right, last one. And this is going to be a game. Rosie, you ready?
I'm all set.
Okay, I'm going to play you this little soundbite, and then we'll tell you the game. Robert Tillotson, a Utah man, was buried in an avalanche while snowmobiling. Listen to this soundbite.
Just black. You can't see, you can't hear. I was riding away from it and it just hit me in the back and threw me off the sled, and I just went tumbling down with the sled.
Get him out. He's moving. He's moving. You got this. Hang on.
There's been several times in my life when I've dodged death, and what hit me as I was laying under there, that if I make it, am I doing enough to help people? That's the direction I'm going, is trying to.
Okay, so the question is, Sauce is buried under snow.
Oh.
We're going to rescue him, but he doesn't know it at the time.
Right.
That guy was thinking, I haven't done enough for humanity. What is Sauce thinking?
Oh, my.
Corey?
I think
Rosie?
he's thinking of Muppet.
Oh, that's a really good answer.
That's where I was going.
Wow.
Muppet and Winnie.
Corey?
And of course, his lovely wife. But
But not who he's
thinking of, like, I will be.
What's the rest of his life if he survives this?
Right. That moment.
My guess is I think he goes Steve Buscemi from Billy Madison on, and he's like, if I ever get out of this, the people on my list are going to pay. It might be the opposite.
Probably.
I
might be in
have to
trouble,
let them well, I'm probably on that list. I don't know. That's a good question. Well, first of all, it'd be easy to spot him.
Oh.
Because his head would be popped out of the snow. That's got to be his head.
Yeah, you're right. There ain't enough snow in Colorado.
That soundbite.
Sauce, what would you be thinking about if you were buried under an avalanche?
How I wish it was you.
That's it. Trading places.
What's your actual answer? Do you know what the answer would be?
I'd be super scared because I hate that situation. I don't.
I got
the
So you're anti
claustrophobic-
being buried?
The claustrophobia part.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
got
the
it.
worst, man.
Oh,
that's
man.
Horrible.
Yeah.
And I'd probably be thinking of my dear wife and how much I hate you.
Yeah. So you would not be thinking about your
I'd
mom
still
and
be
dad.
arguing about Taylor Swift.
You would not be thinking about your parents
Of
at all.
course I would.
What about Kelly or Dov?
Yeah, well, Kelly for sure.
But Dov, no.
Dov, yes, because
Finally,
Dov
we're
would
up.
come get me.
Are you nuts?
Yeah.
He's at the gathering of the Juggalos.
Well, true.
Thank you, Rosie.
My pleasure, love you guys.
Love you, buddy.
All right, Ben Lieber tomorrow, Tommy Olsen tomorrow. Buckle up. We never know what we're going to have with Tommy. Who else am I forgetting? Is that basically it? Who else we got
That's
tomorrow?
Thursday. That's it.
I think that's it for tomorrow. Initials game $4.99 on Friday with what, 57,000, I think? 57K on the line. Jeez. Howard, your morning show back tomorrow, 5:30 to 9. 9 to noon is next.